People. ¿Qué pasa? Suck pussy. What they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. Call it news with a buzz. First thing that is popping in the news. Just when we thought that this scandal called SSL, FSC, PNP, JLP, and your wholeness was slowing down. People, it is like an avalanche. It is only getting worse and worse. The reports, the lies, the denial, the thievery is getting from bad to worse. Now, this is based on some things that I heard on the news less than a couple of hours ago. It seems as if when it comes to the PNP and the JLP, we are speaking about two peas in a pod. The pot calling the kettle black. However, it seems as if the JLP basically caught the SHITTY end of the stick. They are the latest thieves. They are the latest scammers. They are the latest beneficiaries of the SSL. They are guilty, like I said before. So I want you to take a look at a report or some news article explaining what has been going on as it pertains to the SSL, FSC, as way back as 2010. 2013, when they were asked to cease from operating, selling any sorts of stock, they need report. Take a listen, take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
Radio Jamaica News has received copies of letters sent by the Financial Services Commission to Stocks and Securities Limited in 2013, giving the entity directions to cease its securities business following special audits done by the Commission. In the first letter dated January 3, 2013, and addressed to then-President and Chief Executive Officer Mark Croskery, the FSC directed the SSL to refrain from purchasing any asset that would affect the balance sheet of the company without approval by the Commission. This letter also indicated that FSC had flagged the company from as far back as 2010. It directed that SSL should ensure sufficient capital is injected into the company by January 15, 2013, allowing it to satisfy the relevant benchmark relating to the ratio of capital to risk-based assets and other risk exposures. The letter advised that any breach of the directions would result in the Commission moving to revoke SSL's securities dealer's license. It was signed by then Acting Executive Director Leon Anderson. The second letter from the FSC to SSL, dated October 22, 2013, stated that the investment firm should cease all aspects of its securities business unless it received prior approval from the Commission. It also directed SSL to avoid granting credit to related parties or other people, as well as refrain from soliciting business from members of the public. In addition, the company was asked to provide all information, documents, records, access, and other assistance to any special auditor that would be appointed by the Commission. The letter was signed by then Executive Director of the FSC, Janice Holness. In response to criticism about his handling of discrepancies detailed in a 2019 FSC report on the fraud hit Stocks and Securities Limited, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel says the fraud at the company had been occurring before that report was prepared. The 2019 report indicated that SSL had been mixing client funds with company money, among other issues. Dr. Clark says even if he had seen the report at the time, it could not have prevented the fraud, which was already happening.
This fraud would have been in place for a decade, for 10 years before, with directions put in by the previous administration in 2013 with those directions varied, put it in January, varied in October of 2013, and the fraud continues. If there was something that I should have done in 2020 to prevent it, it could have been done in 2013.
He adds that there is no carrying over of reports on the operations of the FSC between successive finance ministers. Dr. Clark says information is provided annually to the respective minister, and any information that existed before a minister takes over is not shared.
Whenever a minister comes in, offices files are cleared and you start from scratch. There's no historical record that exists with respect to any licensee whatsoever. Information that would have come in 2020 would have been that information alone.
Now, people, the FSC told SSL in 2013 to cease operation. The person in which was the head of the SSL at the time was Mark Crosskerry. The FSC told them that they need approval for any other transaction. As a matter of fact, based on what we heard, it was flagged from 2010. We are presently in 2023. So people, that is 13 years that this entity was allowed. The FSC told them at the time that they needed capital because they did not have the money to prove to the FSC that they could conduct business. The books them kind of look shaky. They sent them 2 different reports, one in January, one in October of 2013. In a video that I did previously, maybe about a couple of days, maybe a week or so ago, I told you that these politicians, these companies, they are in bed with the relevant authority. The persons that are supposed to be making sure that they're flying straight, they are in the weave, they are in the web of corruption. At the time in 2013, the commissioner of the FSC, her name was Janice Holness. Janice Holness, in a video that I did previously, she was in some sort of relationship with a politician. I think his name is Fitz Jackson, don't quote me. She said, listen, you need funds. You are mixing up the funds of the client with the funds from the operation of the company. That is not what an investment stock company is supposed to do. So therefore, something is very fishy in your operation. Something shaky on a need for fix up on yourself. In the audio that you heard Mr. Nigel Clark saying that the fraud was going on a decade before he stepped in. So therefore, the fraud did go on from 2010. He got his report in 2020. So pretty much he is saying, I am lying, I am thieving, I am the beneficiary. However, the other party, the other administration before me, being the PNP, they were equally as guilty, thieving and lying. All of us is the same. We are swap black sheep for black monkey. Point blank and period. So you hear the man say it himself. Whatever report he got from 2020, when he was the leader, the finance minister, this could have been stopped or ended back in 2013 up to 2010 under the previous administration. So people, we see they are playing the blame game. However, all of them are guilty. They are or have been facilitating the FUCKRY. PNP, JLP, FSC, they are all in bed with SSL. Point blank and period. Now, people, we see that this SSL, FSC, JLP scandal has been in the news for about 2 weeks or so. And every report that we hear, it digs these culprits in deeper and deeper. It exposes how barefaced, brazen, brawling they are with their lies and their denial. Nobody wants to take any sorts of responsibility. Nobody wants to say, yes, it's me, and I dropped the ball, I made some big mistake, big error to cause this thing to go on from the 1990s, SSL. Fast forward to 2022 and beyond. People, the reason for this, a very popular movie, money is power. Power is money, vice versa. When you have that money, you can buy out these sellout people in Jamaica. You can win election. When you win election, you have the power in a parliament, power to get all these loans, these grants. It is a rich man thing. The ulterior motive of most politicians is not because them love Jamaica, they are patriotic. It's because they know that politics is the biggest scam. Politics is the biggest hustle. So therefore, that is why they turn a blind eye to everything that they see is going on, because these people with the power, the Cross-Kerry, the Harding, you name it, these stock investment, Ponzi scheme companies, including Olint, including Cash Plus, all of them are the same. So the present administration, they understand that, listen, SSL is our most powerful, biggest giver, biggest donor. They can help us to help ourselves. So therefore, it is a symbiotic relationship. You help us to win, you help us to remain in power. We will turn a blind eye. Now, people, I am going to let you take a look to an interview that was done by KD Knight. Don't get it twisted. KD Knight might have had some sorts of ulterior motive for what he said at the time. However, it would prove to be some sorts of prophecy. It explains exactly what was going to happen and what is happening right now as it pertains to FSC, SSL, Andrew Holness, Finance Minister, politics and corruption entangled in a woven web. Take a listen, take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
Let me tell you the problem. And people don't seem to understand this part of it. Money is not easy to come by. You ask people for donations and so on. They give you some. I don't want to tell you who was Oswest's largest donor. I don't want to tell you who gave him the most money. But I'll tell you this. Much of the money that the Labour had spent in this election was money that they stole from the people themselves. They stole that money and they stored a part of it to use in buying votes. It is not through the generosity of others that they were able to get the whole set of money that they had. This was as a result of them stealing $14 billion from the public purse. 14 billion, that's $4.6 million from every single Jamaican, including the baby, including the beggar who was to pay GCT. And then they took it and they bought my black brothers and sisters. This is a return to slavery. That's what it is. But this time is not the white man buying the black man. It's the black man putting up himself for sale to anybody, whether black or white. My brother, we are going to regret this. I will be gone. I will be gone. But black people going to regret it, because the time is coming when not one single person coming out of Northeast St. Catherine will be able to become a member of parliament. Not one. Only the rich, the very rich, will be able to become members of parliament, to plunder the public purse some more and steal some more and let themselves get richer. I'm told that Michael, man, the time gone. My God, my God, why hast thou forsaken us?
Now, people, this is my disclaimer before I proceed. I am not JLP and I am not PNP. When this whole cookie crumbled with the SSL FSC, Andrew Holness was in power. His government is finance minister. So therefore, if I am speaking about a current or present event, I have to talk about the people that are presently involved. It so happens to be the JLP. Had it been the PNP, I would have said the same thing. My tone, my enthusiasm would not have changed. Based on what this man is saying, it is all about the money. Money is the power. The man make you know money is hard to come by. So that is why we see say, the PNP and the JLP, whenever they have a powerful donor, they are willing to turn a blind eye. And I understand that when it comes to politics, we cannot trust the PNP, we cannot trust the JLP. Everybody has something to say about the next one that is in power. In other words, thief not likes a thief with long bag. So therefore, when you listen to how much money it costs to run an election, you have to wonder why. Not saying that it is justified, but you can kind of understand why these politicians, they are so licky. Why they would turn a blind eye. Why they would sell out the country. Because, people, it is obvious. It is for their own self-benefit. It is for party. And then country comes a distant third. Better yet, a distant last. It is all about the quest for elitism and elite society. Everybody wants to be rich because the rich man have the power. And what history has shown us is that the rich man, no matter how despicable his crime, it could be stealing billions of Jamaican, millions of US dollars. More than likely, he won't get charged. he won't get arrested, and he definitely won't get convicted. And even if he gets convicted, he will beat it sooner or later with some sorts of technicality, some sorts of power call. People, like them say, BS walks and money talks, or money talk and BS walks. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like this, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, and sharing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.